The river that never forgets, a dark narration story from the Idimili River. There is a river in southeastern Nigeria that the elders speak about in quiet voices. A river that flows through the land now known as Anambra State. To outsiders, it is just water moving slowly through forests and villages. But to the people who grew up near it, the river has a deeper meaning. They call it the Idimili River. And many believe the river belongs to an ancient spirit known as Idimili. For generations, the elders have taught the same lesson: respect the river, because the river protects the land. But the river also remembers. Long before modern roads and electricity reached the villages around the Idimili River, the people lived in careful harmony with nature. Farmers respected the forests, fishermen respected the waters, and no one ever approached the river without humility. There were rules, simple rules that everyone knew. No one was allowed to pollute the water. No one was allowed to lie or swear falsely near its banks, and most importantly, no one was supposed to take from the river without giving thanks. Before casting their nets, fishermen poured small drops of palm wine into the water. Women fetching water whispered short prayers. These gestures were not just traditions. They were signs of respect to the unseen guardian believed to live beneath the water, because the elders always said something about the river that made even the bravest men careful. The river is patient, but the river never forgets. Many years ago, there lived a young man named Obinna. Obinna was strong, bold, and known for his stubborn nature. Unlike the elders, he did not believe the old stories. Whenever people spoke about river spirits or sacred waters, he would laugh. To him, the world was simple. A river was just a river, fish were just fish, and spirits were nothing but old tales meant to frighten children. One quiet afternoon, Obinna walked toward the banks of the Idimili River carrying his fishing net. The sun hung low in the sky, casting golden light across the water. He cast his net once, nothing. He cast it again, still nothing. But on the third throw, something powerful pulled against the rope. Obinna struggled for a moment before dragging the net toward the shore. When he finally lifted it from the water, the fishermen nearby stared in shock. Inside the net was the largest fish anyone had seen in years, but the size of the fish was not what frightened them. The fish was completely white, not silver, not pale white. An old fisherman stepped forward immediately. His voice was calm but serious. "Throw it back," Obinna frowned. "Why would I throw away the biggest catch of the day?" The old man pointed toward the river. "That fish does not belong to you," the fishermen around them whispered nervously. Because in the traditions of the people, such fish were believed to belong to the river spirit. Catching one was considered a warning. Taking it home was considered a mistake. The old fisherman spoke again. "Return it to the water." But Obinna only laughed. He lifted the fish high above his head and said loudly, "It's just a fish." Ignoring the worried faces around him, he carried the fish away from the river. Behind him, the water rippled gently, as if something deep beneath the surface had begun to stir. That night, Obinna could not sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard something strange, the sound of water, not rain, not wind, water, flowing slowly. At first he thought it was outside his house, but the sound seemed to come from everywhere, from the walls, from the floor, from the darkness itself. Whenever he sat up, the sound disappeared. Whenever he lay down again, it returned. By morning, he was exhausted, but he refused to admit anything was wrong. The fish had already been cooked, his family had eaten it, and life seemed to move on. But the river had noticed. The dreams began the next night. Obinna found himself standing alone beside the Idimili River. The sky above him was dark. The moon reflected across the water like broken glass. Suddenly, the surface of the river began to ripple, slowly. Something rose from the water. A woman, her skin pale like river foam, her long hair drifting like dark plants beneath the current, her eyes calm, but impossibly ancient. She looked directly at him, and then she spoke. "You took what was not yours." Obinna woke up gasping for breath. He told himself it was just a nightmare, but the dream returned the next night, and the night after that. Each time the woman rose from the water, each time she stood closer. Each time the river behind her looked darker. 3 days after catching the fish, Obinna returned to the river. No one knows exactly why. Some believed he wanted to prove the dreams meant nothing. Others believed something was calling him back. Villagers later said they saw him walking toward the riverbank at sunset. He carried nothing. With him, no fishing net. No basket, just himself. That was the last time anyone saw him alive. When Obina failed to return home, the villagers searched the riverbank. They found his sandals resting near the water. They found footprints in the mud, but they never found Obina. The river flowed quietly as always. Calm, silent, as if it had swallowed its secret. When the oldest elder in the village heard the news, he simply nodded. Then he said something the villagers still remember today. The river does not punish quickly, but when it does, it takes what it is owed. Even today, the Adimili River continues to flow quietly through the land of Anambra. During the day it looks peaceful. But the elders still teach their children the same lesson. Respect the river. Respect the unseen forces of the land, because some waters are older than memory and some rivers. Never forget,